Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Breaking news, everybody. Breaking news. I'm gonna wait until everybody come in here. We can get some people in here. Hopefully your notifications and everything went out. Shout out to everybody that is about to come into the room. Oh, what we got? Man Nan in the building right now. Figured it was gonna be Magic 3. Well, that was slightly a prediction that I made yesterday. I have no knowledge, like I said. Thumbs up, man. Let's get everybody in the chat because I want to chop it up with the people real quick. What's up, 36 Chambers? What's up, Fantasy 731? Listen, man. Breaking news. Yes, breaking news. Breaking news. You know what? I wanna just go straight to the source, right? Shout out to everybody in the room. Thumbs up in the chat. Breaking news. Breaking news. Now this one came with as little warning as the first Magic. Coop and I are definitely going to talk about this on tomorrow's show. But I just wanted to check in with the people because, again, this is breaking news and it's a big deal, man. I can't believe that we're getting Magic 3 this soon. I feel like we just got Magic 2. Yeah, M3's on the way. Okay. For the people who may have missed this announcement, the people who may be watching the rebroadcast or whatever, people who are at work, a lot of people are at work right now. Nas posted about 2 hours ago now, actually. We wanted to let it marinate before we jumped on here and said anything. Nas posted, which looks like presumably the Magic 3 cover. Says, I want to thank everyone for taking this ride with Hit Boy and I. It's been nothing short of magical. The album drops on my birthday, Thursday, September 14th at 9 p.m. Don't know if that's Eastern Standard Time or Pacific Standard Time, but we'll see. Forever grateful. Enjoy. Nasir Jones. Now, what are y'all expecting? I appreciate the love. People saying they love the show. What are y'all expecting from this Magic 3? Listen, first of all, I want to say this, and I think I said this on last night's episode of A2HH Live with Coop. And shout out to Coop. I can't wait to get his takes on this. It's been an honor and a privilege to be along for this ride and to actually have been able to speak on all of these albums. Special moment was definitely KD3 when that got released, and you know there was a whole push behind it, and then we got on Station Head with you guys and listened to that album for the first time. Thumbs up in the chat. Thumbs up in the chat. Listen to that album for the first time with the people and it being as great as it was. So I feel like that's going to be my favorite moment from this whole rollout, or I guess this whole 6 album in 3 year series. Wow. That and Magic on Christmas Eve. Nas and Hit Boy have given us moments in this 3 year period. Now, what really 36 Chambers says Friday show this week or a recap of Magic Station Head. I do think that we should do a whole Magic recap. Do y'all want to do a whole Magic recap or just a KD and Magic series recap? Because I think we could definitely do that on Station Head. Now this is what really got me though. I saw what Hit Boy posted on Instagram about it. Let me see real quick. I want to get to that. So Hit Boy posted the album cover as well. It says 6 albums in 3 years. Wow. The last Hit Boy produced Nas album Magic 3 this Thursday. Now, maybe that's what the finale talk was about. I don't know if this is Nas's last album, but Hit Boy made it clear that it is the last Hit Boy produced Nas album, at least, you know, until the presumable future. What do you guys feel about that? Do you guys feel that they should continue on, making albums together? And how does this change Nas's album making process moving forward? Do you guys think that Nas should connect with another producer to do full albums for him moving on? Or do y'all like the old formula where you're mixing it up and you have producers, here and there? Me personally, and I'm not saying this because Hit Boy's cool people. Thumbs up in the chat. Thumbs up in the chat. I think what Hit Boy has accomplished with his pairing with Nas is something that is going to have him in the all-time lexicon of great producers in hip hop. Many great producers from different eras have come through and have worked with Nas and have made great material for Nas, but none of them have been able to make full albums for him, not to mention 6 albums in 3 years. And 6 quality albums. Well, I'll say 5. We haven't heard Magic 3, but based on what they've been doing, I don't see how this would not be quality, right? Especially with it coming so quickly after Magic 2. Let's see. Yeah. I feel that way too. I see somebody in the chat saying that Hit should A&R Nas projects moving forward. Similar to what RZA did when you look at Supreme Clientele for Ghosts. I think that they have tapped into something, and I said it before the first Magic even dropped. They found magic together, and they have a winning combination where they tap into each other's versatility. They tap into each other's, youthful energy, if you will, and the stuff just sounds fresh. That's what hip hop is about. I know fresh is an old term, probably from the 80s, and people using that are probably from that era. But that's what makes hip hop cool, is the fact that it just feels fresh and new. It doesn't feel like they're chasing anything nostalgic. And even when they went and kind of took us on a nostalgic trip with the first Magic, that still felt fresh and new as well. I think the energy gave us the feeling of an earlier Nas, as opposed to them trying to recreate 90s hip-hop per se. So yeah, with that being said, I would love for them to continue to be involved. But I do understand as an artist, and Nas is an artist to the highest order, he doesn't want to do the same thing too many times. That's one of the wonderful things about being an artist. It's not about having a regular job, everyday routine. You do something for a while and you kind of move on and do the next thing. And I think that might be where it goes from here, but I would like to see Hit Boy somewhat involved in Nas' efforts moving forward. Now, I do believe both of them grew from this. I do believe that Hit Boy's all-time status has benefited from this pairing. Again, 6 albums in 3 years with somebody on the level of a Nas. Like, I don't know what to say. That if that doesn't put you in the top 10, and you got hits on top of that, like, I don't know what else does. Yeah. You know a mic check was coming, but we're going to really get more into it on tomorrow's show on A2HH Live. I mean, I'm kind of here to really promote A2HH Live for tomorrow, because I know we're going to have a really great discussion. I know everybody's going to be in the building representing and giving their predictions. Hopefully we'll have a track list from there. Do y'all want to see any features, or do y'all want to you want this Magic 3 to kind of just be Nas? I think that in my personal opinion, I would like it to just be Nas. But again, if we get a big time feature on there, I'm not mad at that either. Who do you guys think might be featured on there? Are you cool with features, or do you just want it to be them? Somebody said mid-album incoming. This is the thing, man. Like, what I will say, regardless of, how you guys feel about, the output and how fast things have been coming with this pairing. But if we didn't have this pairing, hip-hop is kind of on a notable names level. Hip-hop has been kind of bland. And I think it's very helpful to have some of your big dogs going out there and putting out quality material. I think at this point, and this is just my opinion, could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, I think Jay-Z is unofficially retired. I don't really see another Jay album coming, and I only bring up Jay because we're talking about some of our big dogs producing high-volume material, or high-level material, if you will, that kind of excites the hip-hop aesthetic moving forward. We need the Kendricks to drop. We need the J. Coles to drop. We need the Drakes to drop. We need the Jay-Z's. We need the Nas's. We need that. I mean, regardless if people want to admit that or not. And we also need the people who are coming next to be able to take those fulfilling spots that we need moving forward. But anyway, with that being said, what these guys have given us in the past 3 years, we got to appreciate that. Because if we didn't get those things, I feel like the game looks a little different. And it already looks somewhat bare, but I appreciate the fact that 2 artists who really didn't even have to do this because their careers are pretty much solidified Nas specifically solidified to an extreme level, and Hit Boy in this era is solidified. Doesn't need to do that. But they went out here and gave us high volume, high quality material over a short period of time because they love it. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And I know a lot of people say, with Jay, he ain't making no albums because, he's a billionaire. He's got all these other things going on. And that's great. And that's understandable, But there's a level of love that comes into play when somebody like a Nas and Hit Boy come together and give you 6 quality albums or 5 quality albums, a 6th one on the way, in 3 years, this deep in their career, and you have to appreciate that. And I know a lot of people think that Coop and I really go in on 3000 and the lack of material. At the end of the day, we respect Andre to the highest. We respect Outkast, the Dungeon Family, and the brand to the highest. We wouldn't be here without them and their impact and their input. But there is also a level of bitterness as a fan where we wish that we could root for our hometown guy to that level, but our hometown guy isn't qualified on that level because of the lack of output. And maybe that strikes a bit of a bitterness in us. But with that being said, there's a certain level of appreciation that we have for the work ethic, the excellence, and the love that has been put into this 3-year, 6-album run. And that's something that at this point is unprecedented. And for somebody to continuously drop quality bars, quality songs, and quality production at this rate, that whole quality over quantity argument doesn't work as much for certain people anymore. Because I view Nas, honestly, as a conscious MC, as an MC who goes on inspirations, who is a creative writer to the highest order. Now, a lot of people in the conscious lyrical community, they only move when they're inspired. And the fact that when he's inspired, he can move at a rate where he has more albums in a 3-year period than some of his contemporaries have in their whole career, we have to hold him to a level that is beyond his peers. And this ain't just some hustle music. And I no disrespect to that either. There's certain people who look at this rap game as an art, and it's all a business, right? But there are certain people who look at putting out albums as like, okay, I got to serve my base. It's a hustle, whatever. And you hear it in the product. But for somebody who takes on music from a creative writing standpoint to have the output of the hustlers, it needs to be acknowledged. Because a lot of us, we give, the Yasin Beys of the world, Q-Tip, who is my guy, we give them that pass that, we're not going to get a lot of output from them because they're artists, and they have to be inspired. They got to be in a certain place. They got to be in the right mental space. I know Lauryn Hill, she has to have a lot of things going on before she can hit the stage. But when you look at somebody like Nas who can hit all of who can trump all of those individuals on an artistic level, but still give you that level of output, I mean, we gotta give it up, man. We gotta give it up. And Jay is the ultimate hustler. I always looked at Jay as the ultimate hustler artist, where it's like you could tell he has otherworldly skills and skill sets, but he has the mentality of a hustler. And Nas, the creative writer, the all-time MC, has outworked even him. I mean, I don't know what to say. I just think that at this point, I don't know if we're gonna get another Nas effort. I hope we do. As a fan, I hope so. But if we don't, this is a hell of a way to go out. And I think he set the bar so high that even the guy who is considered to be in second place by many of us, especially people who are following the run, I don't really think there's anything that Jay can do at this point in his career to really catch up to what has just taken place. And I mean, dropping 6 albums in a 3-year period. We're not even counting Nasir. We're not even counting the Lost Tapes too. Bro, like, ever since 444, Nas has dropped 8 albums to Jay's 1. Nigga, that's crazy. If you would have told me in 2017 that would be the case, first of all, I would have been like, nah, that's not happening. And I also would have thought that it might have been a quality control there or whatever. But, man, he's not only separated himself from the rest of his peers, he's even separated himself from number 2. And I see people in the chat saying Pac's first place, and I'm not mad at that. I think when you look at the whole impact on the game, the trends that Pac set, the way that his music from 20 plus years ago still has legs, still is relevant. He was a trailblazer on so many levels. On a fashion level, he was a superstar, lyricist, poet, great song maker, writer. But the longevity of what Nas is doing right now, you have to understand that Pac just, unfortunately didn't live long enough to be able to have the resume over different eras that, Nas has had. And, I mean, I think at this point, man, like, that whole top whatever, it's not even a discussion anymore. It's not. Now, if you want to discuss number 2, 3, 4, and 5, fine. And I think even by this standard, Jay is pretty solidified at number 2. Everything else is just a conversation, I think that Jay and Nas's catalogs are just somewhere else when it comes to their contemporaries. But I also feel that Nas's catalog is somewhere else, even in comparison to Jay's at this point. And I don't know if he's going to make another album. I hope he does. It sounds like he has a whole lot left in the tank. It's very difficult to be on a run like this and obviously not get tired. That's one thing. He's probably tired, but it sounds like he's just motivated. And you can't really cut off that motivation and hunger. And you're rapping at a level like this. How do you really stop? Because when what I got from Office Hours, his song with 50 Cent that's on Magic 2, I heard how fluid and in practice that Nas was compared to somebody like a 50 Cent. It's like he's on a roll right now. And it's something that you just can't. I mean, the fact that he's coming with Magic 3 this quickly lets you know the kind of role he's on. Like, I can't imagine what his writing process is like at this point. He already writes a lot. You can hear it in the music. He has so many, unreleased records. He has so many, got lost tapes. That's something that a lot of his peers don't have as well. He has songs that will never see the light of day, songs that have never even been on lost tapes, and he's still putting out material like this. It's like his writing regiment has to be something like he's writing damn near every day. And that's something that his contemporaries just aren't doing. And we have to give him that credit. I mean, the number one spot is the number one spot for that reason. Shout out to everybody in the group. Like I said, I'm not going to be in here too long. But I did want to kind of break the news with y'all and kind of want to see where y'all heads is at and what y'all are thinking about this Magic 3 and it being Hit Boy's final Nas produced album. I'm sorry, said that backwards. Nas's final Hit Boy produced album. What do y'all want from this effort? Are y'all sad to see this trilogy on both sides end? Or are you just ready for something new? Yes, unprecedented. Definitely. And where do y'all expect this one to fall in the series? Because I think I was vocal on the show where I feel like KD3 is my number one pick. Then I'm gonna go Magic at number 2. Then I'm gonna go KD2 at number 3. Then I'm gonna go Magic 2 at 4, and then I'm gonna go KD1. So where do you guys think that Magic 3 is possibly gonna fall? Do you think that this is coming too quick after Magic 2? Many of you guys predicted him, putting out a birthday release. Do you think that Magic 3 is coming this quickly? Because, a lot of people had some critical things to say about Magic 2. Hopefully better than Magic 2. I could see that. Magic 2 is interesting because I think that Magic 2 might not be as appreciated as it needs to be right now. But I think over time, Magic 2 is probably going to age very well. And I have no problem with somebody at this stage in their career flooding the market, because right now what he's doing is he's setting up these trilogies to have a legacy, because we're going to look back years from now and listen to these efforts and say, damn, he made this in this short period of time. Hit Boy produced these albums in this short period of time. Oversaturated. I don't know. I don't buy the oversaturated thing. Like I said, for somebody who's already had a career and somebody whose career has reached, certain heights already, I think at this point, man, you're just feeding your base and you're feeding hip hop. It's hip hop 50. So I think that this level of work is just showing appreciation to the craft and giving the craft new in the culture, new music to get excited about. Because one thing that I've noticed in this hip hop 50, and I think it's a great thing that a lot of people are being celebrated, but hip hop history is an incredible thing. But what really makes hip hop thrive is new music and fresh new sounds, new fashion, new trends. Hip hop is built on the new and the now. And what I'm seeing from Hip Hop 50 is great. It's a celebration of it, but I don't feel like we're seeing enough new music in hip hop culture, and I appreciate the fact that Nas and Hit Boy are doing that. Sorry guys, let me get some water real quick. Doing a lot of talking. I can't really take the breaks for the co-host and all that stuff. But I would love to get some callers in. I think we might do that. Into You Jams with the super chat says, Mike, do you think that Jay-Z's inability to release an album now has something to do with the fact that he's not writing his lyrics down? Could be. I think it's an out of practice thing as well. That's why I brought up the office hours thing, and I think I've brought up in our previous shows about Jay trying to find a new flow, or a flow that's going to work for him now. I think that's it's probably a challenge that he's dealing with. I think there's another challenge to possibly stay current. And I think there's also a content challenge possibly, where maybe he doesn't feel that the content that he's comfortable creating, or he's been comfortable creating in the past, is actually going to connect with people based on where his life is now. I think what the beauty of where Jay's music was when he was like consistently dropping was the fact that he was able to speak on where he was in the current. And I think if he speaks on where he is in the present day rather, I don't know how exciting and invigorating it will be for his audience. I think 444 is a testament to that. A lot of people liked 444, but for some of us Jay fans, it was a little anticlimactic because we're used to hearing him speak from a position of power, and that's not what that album was. Firebird Phoenix with the super chat says, I think Magic 3 happens this quickly because musically, it really is pulling a rabbit out of the hat. It's love, bro, period. Straight up love. Yeah, I mean, and this is a narrative that we continue to hear, guys. And Kevin Chavez, you're saying what everybody says on the internet. And I wanna get this comment because I know that this is the narrative. Jay is too busy being a billionaire. Okay, that's great. And I think that's incredible. He's had an incredible career to be able to get him to that point. But the truth of the matter is, are we going to hold that against the people who are out here working and the people who are actually out here putting out material? And I'm sure Nas has some things going on as well. I mean, regardless if Jay's a billionaire or not, or he's too busy to do music or make music or create music, well, you go ahead and get in this second place real quick, because the guy who we've always kind of went, back and forth with has passed you immensely. Again, only thing I can compare it to, the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning thing. And let's just say, hypothetically, Peyton Manning discovered something or invented something or invested in something that got him billions of dollars. And he said, you know what, I don't need this football thing anymore. Are we going to sit here and still hold Peyton Manning over Tom Brady if Tom Brady kept playing the game and kept winning Super Bowls after Peyton sat down? I don't understand where we got to this point in hip-hop where other shit factors in over the music. If we're having a music and a hip-hop and an album and a song, lyric, verse conversation, catalog conversation, what does billionaire status have to do with any of that? That's the part that confuses me, and I don't really understand where that even factors in. 007. Shout out 007, my guy. Shout out to them Jets, man. What about Aaron Rodgers, man? 6 quality albums in 3 years is unprecedented in music. It is. It is. It is. Mo Better Cover the Super Chat says, maybe the topic that Jay wanted to touch on has been done by Nas with the KD and Magic trilogy, and he might feel like it's too late. I think that I really don't think we're going to get a Jay album. And I hope I'm wrong, because I would love to hear a new Jay-Z album. But after this run, I think that, sitting down might be the best thing to do until you're inspired to that degree. Because clearly right now, Jay's not inspired. I think that we hear glimpses with the God Did verse. And I know we're tongue-in-cheek about that verse because of how hyped it is. But it's a good verse. You know what I mean? It's impressive to rap that long. It is, at any stage of your career. But does it sound inspired? I don't know. I can't tell you the last time I really heard Jay where he sounded inspired. I think he's reaching for the inspiration. I think on the Pusha T record, Neck and Wrist, I think he's looking for that inspiration. And but I don't think it's there right now in the way that, I hear somebody like a Nas. He's clearly inspired at this point. Like I said, Office Hours shows me that because he's rapping next to one of his contemporaries who is the ultimate hustler and who is an MC who's super consistent. And it just sounds like one guy is dope, but just hadn't really, been in the studio like that. And the other guy is just in a zone. And you kind of just hear that. And I think that's where Nas is with the rest of his contemporaries. And it's a beautiful thing to see. And I think that on the other foot, if Jay was at that, level of inspiration at this point, we would applaud that and we would celebrate that as well. But you're not going to see things like this too often. And that's why I think that, even with this announcement of Magic 3, we just have to celebrate the fact that we were able to get these efforts in 3 years during a time that I would say in hip-hop we really needed it. And we really needed it from one of our greats. I would have loved to have seen during this hip-hop 50 year a lot of our OGs giving us new music, But that lets you know how difficult this is to do. Because when you hear a lot of our OGs, and I know that we don't really want to admit that, but when we hear some of our OGs on some of these collaborative albums, collaborative efforts, it's a struggle getting a verse from them, and it's a struggle when you hear it. It's like, okay, it's dope, but, I respect the person, yada, yada. But when you've been in this game for a certain level of years, a number of years, and you have a legacy that you have to live in the shadow of, it's difficult to make some quality new music that people are going to connect with. And the fact that Nas is able to do this, it really sets him apart from his contemporaries. It really does. And like I said, shout out to Hit Boy. I think he was a huge inspiration on getting Nas to this point and making him want to make so many albums and efforts back to back to back to back to back. So the question here is, man, at this point, what are the expectations? At this point, I have no expectations of Magic 3. I expect quality like we've been getting for the past 3 years. If this one somehow ends up being better than KD 3, I mean, I'll be speechless. If this is not better than KD 1 and is last in the series from a quality standpoint, I'm fine with that too. I just love the fact that these guys are out here being creative and not hiding behind the fact that, you know, we're already made men, which they are. Because at the end of the day, if we don't get new hip-hop material, if we don't get fresh new material in this culture, hip-hop's not going to continue to thrive as it needs to. Our history is rich in hip-hop, yes. But hip-hop runs off of the new and fresh music. That's what makes hip-hop thrive. People say M3 is going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, dropping on your birthday, you got to think it is. On your 50th birthday on Hip Hop 50. Now, I think this is something that Coop has been predicting really even last year. He thought that, you know, Nas is going to drop something on his birthday on Hip Hop 50 because he's turning 50. So, you know, here it is. We're here. I'm looking forward to the show tomorrow. You know what? A lot of you guys who hollered us about, you know, getting your music promoted, because I know we got some artists out there, and Coop said it yesterday on the show, want to make sure that we're giving artists light and new artists light, because I talk about new music helping hip-hop thrive. Man, holler at us at info@accordingtohiphop.com, or, you know, inbox us on any of our social medias. And if you got some, you know a new artist that we should be talking about, or if you're a new artist and, you know, you're trying to get your promo on, holler at us. And, you know what I'm saying? We'll make sure that, you know, the next generation of hip-hop can continue to thrive. But what we're seeing right now is special. And I hope that not only Nas and Hit Boy's peers take note of this, but I hope that the next generation takes note of this as well, and not only understand that you can get out there and put quantity out, but make sure that it is quality, because they were able to achieve that. Andre with the super chat says, Magic 2 is fire. Magic 3 will be another surprise sonically. Something we don't expect. Can't wait. Okay. I want to touch that too before we get out of here. I do want to see them take more chances, because they've been taking chances the whole time. And so if they take chances on Magic 3, I am totally okay with that. And I think that that is going to be something that's going to make to wrap up this finale in a tight little bow, because that's what they've been doing the whole time. They've been giving us quality music that wasn't just the run-of-the-mill hip-hop that we would expect from, you know, someone with the career of a Nas or a lyricist like that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. They know what they're doing. I have no advice. They've been able to tap in on each effort. KD1, KD2, KD3, Magic 2. In my personal opinion, I think that they hit the mark each time. I think for what they were attempting to achieve each time, I think they hit the mark, and I think they'll hit the mark again. So give us you guys predictions, man. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Coop and I are going to be live in the studio tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tap in with us. We're looking forward to the excitement. We're going to hear from you guys and some of the questions and some of the predictions, and hopefully we have a track list by the time that we do our show tomorrow. I believe we may, because it's going to be 6 o'clock and really literally hours away from the actual release. But if we don't, I'm sure we're going to be able to make a good show out of it as well. Nicki Minaj is hosting the MTV Awards tonight. That's happening. And we still haven't talked about this BET Lyricist of the Year nominations or whatnot. So we're going to cover that as well. So like and subscribe. Shout out to everybody in the room. Oh, man, we got a bunch of people in the room, man. Listen, I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate Nas and Hit Boy for taking us along on this ride, and everybody else who was involved as well. A lot of behind-the-scenes people involved, and I just hope that we continue on in this beautiful love fest for the love of music and just keep everything going. Like I said, holler at us if you want to do some artist promo too, so we can keep this music thing going. It's a very exciting time. I know it might look to some people that it's a dead period in the culture, but I think that we're on the precipice of something huge and something big. And I want to thank Nas and Hit Boy for setting the tone for that. So yeah, hit like and subscribe. Email us at info@accordingtohiphop.com, or just, hit us on any of our social media inboxes, and we're going to get back at you. Holla at you guys.